That can be moved, couldn't it? This is just a guide. All right. Andy's running just a little behind. He's still in court with Horton. So you might move the old business, hold that resolution, hold that until he gets here. In case there's any questions on it. That's the.
Oh. I mean, mine.
Yes, mine.
Good.
Yeah. You got-
I've had this, it will not go away. This cough just sits there.
Oh,
We should. So start zooming again. Zooming in or out. Are you feeling any better?
Yeah. I went home for lunch. I was eating crackers and drinking broth.
The first step.
So, and not complaining about
That's a bad sign.
it. Yeah. So he'll probably be home tomorrow. I'll probably work from home tomorrow.
Makes sense.
Saturday, I had to come up with my grade in.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene showed up. And I told them both, I said, you know, it's pretty special. I have a key. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Charlene's favorite son doesn't.
Now, can Jill still out and go out and do stuff?
Yeah, they went down to Crystal Bridges
Yeah, that's what
last weekend.
I think. Because I was talking to Crosby and he said that. Yeah, because I was in Kansas City. He's like, well, they're just. I've never heard of Crystal Bridges. I meant to look it up.
I've heard of it down in Bentonville, Arkansas.
Mhm.
A big art market there, Walmart.
Really?
Yeah, the grocery store. Yeah, that clock's fast a little bit.
So she can still go out and things.
I think they're cautious.
Yeah, because she can't catch them. Yeah. That's a film, so a very good friend of mine and had a good today. So
Awesome.
I wanted to text her. I was like, I can't do that.
Right, yeah. He did all that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thing on it is consent agenda approval, December 27th, 2021 minutes. December accounts payable summary. Approval utility account refunds in the amount of $166.13. Approval payments to Kansas State Treasurer and General Obligation Bond Series A 2014 031 501 281 403 bond and interest payment in the amount of $41,448.62. Approval payment to Kansas State Treasurer for General Obligation Bonds Series B 2014
031-501-2814-004 bond interest payment in the amount of $31,070.38. Approval payment to Kansas State Treasurer for General Obligation Bond Series 2012-03, 1503, 151, 2288 bond interest payment in the amount of $62,368.75. Approval payment to Kansas State Bank regular payment of a 2019 case excavator in the amount of $18,887.67. Approval payment for Kansas Municipality Insurance Trust came at for 2022 workers' compensation premium in the amount of $61,638. Approval municipal judge report for December 2021. Is there a motion we approve consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments?
I got a question. Mike, do you happen to know off the top of your head if our workers' comp, how much that premium, is it a lot higher than last year?
Much. Yeah. It was 49 last year. It went up quite a bit. It seems to be happening with quite a few municipalities under KMIT.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was gonna look it up and then I didn't. Thank you. That's all I have.
And there's really nothing we can do about it.
Look, there aren't a whole lot of options. There is one other option. Well, two other options I'm aware of in Kansas, so it might be worth looking at those. Now we've just hit the premium year, so I'd have to look at you know, whether or not we get some of that premium back if we left during the year, or if it's something to plan for next year.
Yeah, I think our numbers and claims will probably be going down the next year. So, I mean, we don't have the claims we did a year ago or 2 years ago.
No, we had some follow-up, some kind of hanging things this past year from previous claims that kind of came back around. That's part of it, is our experience. But all in all, it was a better year.
Is there any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carried. Regular agenda none. We got a thank you for the memorial contributions from the family of Curtis Campbell. Actually, Curtis served on the commission with me at one time, and he's an outstanding leader in our community, and we appreciate your thank you for the city.
Mayor Collins?
Yeah.
Andy's here now.
Okay, all right. Next thing on the agenda is consider a resolution 2021-10. That's a resolution in finding violation of the Health and Welfare Code, Article 3, located at 108 East Miami Street. Andy, go ahead.
So this was placed before the commission last meeting. It was tabled ultimately to reach out to Mr. Harness, I believe. There's been some contact. The property's been cleaned up from like a nuisance or accumulation standpoint. So the only thing left there would be the possibility of vehicles without proper registration, although I think most of them have become compliant with code. At this point, I might suggest if we could table this perhaps to one more meeting, the property might be in compliance and we won't need to pass a resolution. So I guess that would be my recommendation on this particular resolution tonight.
Is there a motion we table this for?
I'll make a motion to table resolution 2021-10 until the next meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing is consider a confirmation of Russell Cousin as a volunteer firefighter. And I guess I'd make a motion that, with the recommendation from the firefighters that, we approve Russell Cousins.
Second.
Is there any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next thing, Aaron, library.
Good evening. Sorry I couldn't be here last meeting, but happy to be here, happy and healthy to be here tonight. I do want to say thanks for appointing Jim Ewing to our board last meeting, even though I wasn't able to be here. We're looking forward to working with him and that he can be on the library board and help us. Other general updates, since I was last year, we had a great turnout at our pumpkin patch event in October. Our Friends of the Library was very helpful and donated money so we could pay for small pumpkins for all the kids who attended to decorate the little pumpkins. And we gave a story time at the pumpkin patch and it was a lot of fun and we plan on doing it again. And we had a Kansas author series at the library. We had 3 different authors come in over the course of the fall, and we had great turnouts. We had about 30 people come to the author Bryn Greenwood event. 25 people came to hear from Emily Davies, and about 6 people came to our DK Graham event. So we were very pleased with how many people came out and supported both the library and those authors. And then we were also able to have all of the elementary school classes come to the library during homecoming week last semester. And we got to show off Bill Martin Jr. and Stephen Gilpin and what they did and how they came about from Hiawatha and how successful they were. We got to show off the library and those great authors and illustrators to those kids from the elementary school. And we got to do a Halloween story walk. Both our patrons, we had a lot of good things from them, and all of the downtown businesses who participated had nothing but great things to say. They were very happy to get people even just looking in the windows of their businesses. And I want to say thank you. The city got to host a couple of pages for that, and the chamber, they also helped us get the word out to all of their members and help it be successful. We have one other story walk for local businesses planned for March that we're going to do again. We're very excited about, and we're happy that it's such a great turnout for both the local businesses and the library here. And we had a fall book sale. I know we had a lot of people itching to give us their gently used books, and we were able to put them out with the friends, and they had a sale, and we're going to be able to do that again. I know that our Friends president, Carol Boggs, let me know that Rainbow has agreed to help them store some books for them. So we'll be able to set up some times throughout every week. People can bring books to them since the library doesn't have space for them anymore. So we're very excited. We've had a lot of questions about when people can bring by used books. So we'll be able to do that. More details will get out about that. And we had a really great, successful partnership with the Kansas Department of Wildlife. They had an employee come out to the library and they presented monthly programs. We called it Wildlife Adventures. And we will be keeping that up in March. They'll come back and once a month, they'll come back and do a presentation plus fun activities for the kids. So we'll be continuing that. And we've also really had a great time kicking off our volunteer program, getting that back in shape. We have middle school kids come 2 times a week, and we have volunteers who are older who also come in and help us work on things. And we're also looking for high school students to join our Teen Advisory Council of Students. They meet every first Tuesday at the library, and they get to, in exchange for giving them credit for service hours, they can plan events for teens at the library. So we do things that they would like to do. And my final little note here was that we also have a new writing club one of our librarians is spearheading meeting twice a month at the library, first and third Tuesdays. And he will be there for anybody who's looking to have a writing workshop space. We'll have that twice a month. And we had one last week and we'll have another one next week as well. So those are my updates for the library. Any questions? All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next thing on the agenda, consider approval of resolution 2022-01. I guess there's the duplication of deal on there. This is on the Kansas Water Pollution Control Revolving Fund. Looks like it says 108 East Miami Street.
But yeah, that part's, yeah. The resolution's part of the sanitary sewer project. It does not obligate the city to a loan, but it's to apply for a loan with KDHE for the temporary financing of the project. But passing the resolution doesn't obligate the city. It just allows the application to be filed with KDHE. Then that would come back to the commission for approval once everything's approved by them.
So I make a motion to approve resolution 2022-01 for the sanitary sewer project.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comment? No other comments, we'll vote.
Commissioner Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Chambers,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilkie.
Aye.
Mayor Condon.
Aye, motion carried. Next thing is consider approval of soliciting bids for 2022 concrete work. I think we do this every year, and so I just entertain a motion. We go ahead and approve soliciting bids for 2022 contract work.
I'll make a motion to approve soliciting bids for 2022 contract work,
Concrete.
concrete work, sorry.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, consider approval of the soliciting bids for downtown and walking trail planners. I think we need to go out and bid them again, so we're, I think Wolfer had them last year, didn't it?
I believe so. And it was expressed to the city that it'd be in our best interest to do it this early, because this is when the places are ordering their flowers. So it gives them a little better idea of what to order, and I think they can get a better price on it as well.
I make a motion to approve soliciting bids for the 2022 downtown and walking trail planters.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, presentation, City of Hiawatha Land Bank Annual Report. Yes,
Yeah, we met last week and Mike worked up our summary of our activities for last year. We sold 3 properties. We have 3 properties on Shawnee in our inventory. We took in $450 and we had some expenses, a little over $1,000, but we also don't have to mow the 3 properties that we sold. So that kind of offsets the expenses that we had. Part of those expenses were getting the land bank up and running. And hopefully we'll have more activity next year. I believe from what I hear, there might be another land sale that the county may be having sometime this year. So we should have more activity going forward.
thank you, Dave. Is there any comments, questions, Dave? Appreciate it, Dave. Next thing is executive session, attorney-client relationship. the conference room, 5 minutes.
I make a motion that the city commission recess into executive session in the conference room for a period of 5 minutes to discuss matters of potential litigation. The justification for closing the meeting is to consult with the city attorney to discuss matters privileged under the attorney-client relationship. The open meeting will resume at 5:57. Is that okay? In the commission chambers and to include the city commission attorney and administrator.
Second.
Motion been made and second, no other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried.
Business. Okay, at 5:57, the city commission is called back into open meeting. The commission took no binding action during executive session.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion been made and second, come back in, no action taken, no other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, next is opening executive session, non-like personnel in the matter KSA 75-43-19B1. How much time?
10.
10
I'll make a
minutes.
motion that the city commission recess into executive session in the conference room for a period of 10 minutes to discuss matters regarding an issue of potential city personnel. This justification for closing the meeting is to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. The open meeting will resume at 6:08 in the commission chambers and to include the city commission attorney and administrator.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second, no other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried.
I need to call him and he needs to get with you, just get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two times tomorrow. And I think 3 on Wednesday.
Okay,
So, yeah.
but he just needs to get in touch with Lynette to schedule that.
Yes.
Okay.
Or is the shirt track or shirt shop right on something? There was, no. It's two. I don't think so. He hasn't talked that much yet. I have one here too. Really?
At 6:08, the city commission is called back into open meeting. The commission took no binding action during executive session.
Second.
Motion been made and second to come back in. No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Commissioner Wilkie,
Yes, I would like to make a motion to advertise for chief of police for the city of Hiawatha, both state and nationally. And we can get that process started.
Second.
motion been made and second. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Next thing, Nick. Okay. I want to thank you for your efficiency on removing all the snow in such a quick and so I want to commend you and I want everybody to know that you're done one hell of a job, so. Patrick. Got anything?
Oh, sorry, this is your first time.
Yeah.
Any update on the department or, you know,
Well-
how things are going well?
Things are great.
Good.
Sending the truck in to have Patrick.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta get up there and speak now.
You're gonna wish you didn't come here after all.
We are sending a truck to have it's the ECM module replaced on it tomorrow over in St. Joe. It's a national recall on the truck. It's our Unit 81. We're also going through the fire station and getting a list of stuff for Mike that's unused equipment. So something can be done with it, so it's not collecting dust. And we've cleaned up the upstairs, got rid of some old equipment that's been there for 30 years. And hopefully be getting something to you within the next week or so for a new radio and some air packs for the new Unit 84. I know those aren't cheap, so get some bids on you for that. We don't, the old Unit 4 was equipped with the old Scott packs, which we've moved over to the MSAs 10 or 15 years ago. So we don't have any air packs for it. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Patrick.
And Patrick, we did vote for your new member tonight. If you,
Yes.
Yeah, he's
on that there.
Brad.
I have it in the budget for this year to replace the 2001 backhoe. And I just would like to seek permission to solicit bids to replace the 2001 backhoe.
I guess you need the equipment, so.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't. So you're trading one in and getting another one?
yes, that's the idea.
Good. Do you have any numbers?
We budgeted 110,000. I got that number from one of the dealers that we normally deal with at Victor Phillips. Well, it's not Victor Phillips anymore, but
Van Keppel.
it used to be Victor Phillips. They changed their name. Equipment Share, I think, is what they're called now. But I use that number as a budget number.
I'll make a motion to go out to give Brad Scott permission to go out for bids for a new backhoe to replace the 2001 backhoe that'll be traded in.
Good second.
I'll second it.
Motion been made and second. Any other comments? No other comments, we'll vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carried. Brad, on your lagoons out there, how are we coming? KDHE come back with any?
KDHE actually did come back. They want a submittal from our engineer for a contingency plan, as they want more information basically from our engineer. I saw an email from our engineer today. He, as part of his contingency plan, he's been working with one of the same companies that I was looking at. We're kind of right in the preliminary part of this right now. What he was proposing, our engineer was proposing was that we have a system in there. The way it would work is it has something to do with creating waves in our big lagoon, which would increase the surface area and enhance the evaporation. And that way we wouldn't have any concerns about overspray, environmental concerns about any kind of mist getting off of the lagoons. Right now, it's like a 7 horsepower motor we would have to get power up to it. And so there's a lot of aspects that are going to go in with this. I don't have a lot of information about that right now or any solid numbers for you at this time. I know that the equipment itself it was right around $30,000, right from what I saw in the email earlier. We have to, of course, investigate further before I have anything solid for you, but we are still working on it. Yes.
Okay, well, we've been talking about it for quite a while. I didn't know if you got any updates or not. So,
Yeah,
all right. You got anything else?
I don't.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Dave's not here. Grim, Dennis.
The only thing I have tonight is previously Chief DeFore had filed for it's a Patrick Leahy bulletproof vest program. It's a grant to reimburse part of the funds for new bulletproof vests. Finally got onto the website today and found some numbers. Our vests came in right at the first of the year for 7 of us. There's 3 of them that their vests are still good for several more years. At first, we didn't think that the grant was going to cover quite as much as what it used to, but I found out today that they are going to cover 50% of the vest cost that we spent for the new vest. And then over the course of the next couple of years, you have to reapply for the grant to cover the other 3 because they're just outside of how long the grant period goes, but it just gets reapplied for before you order the new vest for the other 3. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Dan. Casey?
I just wanted to report after the storm on December 15th, we did have about $15,000 worth of damages at Noble Park. And we made a claim on that, and that check came in the mail yesterday, I guess today. So we will be utilizing that money and fixing the problems at Noble. Everything kind of south of this, on the south side of the scoreboard, there was a lot of damages there. So we'll get on that when the weather's a little better. And we're playing a lot of pickleball at the Fisher Center. If anybody's interested in joining, it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Stacy. Dave Wilson not gonna be here. Dish. Andy? Mike?
Have my report. If there's any questions on it, otherwise, nothing.
I'm gonna pass tonight, Becky.
Yes. So at the city commission meeting 2 weeks ago, one of the agenda items was in regards to derelict vehicles on a property in Hiawatha. Clearly, there were city violations of city codes. However, Commissioner Shepherd commented that he was not interested in doing anything because it was the owner's livelihood, the way he makes a living. He asked to table the motion for 2 weeks so he could contact the owner to see what was going on. And as a commission, we have voted to allow that. Yet not more than 30 minutes later, the motion was made by Mayor Collins and seconded by Commissioner Shepherd to terminate John DeFore as the chief of police. The motion passed 3-2 with only Dave and I voting no. So we give a property owner who was in violation of city codes extra time to fix what was wrong, since the commissioner doesn't want to impact the owner's livelihood. But we don't offer the chief of police the same grace, the same opportunity to answer any concerns about his ability to do his job. What about Chief DeFore's livelihood? He had no idea this was coming, and I would imagine to this day still does not know why this termination occurred. Chief DeFore worked for Hiawatha for almost 10 years, and in less than 2.5 minutes, his tenure was ended, all because the mayor said he wasn't pleased with the chief of police and felt we needed to go in another direction. A direction, by the way, I still have no idea what that is. In my opinion, a tremendous mistake has been made. 3 of our commissioners fired a police chief who has done nothing but improve our police department. And if you haven't read the letter to the editor in the Hiawatha World from Dr. Crosby Gernon, you all should. He spells out many of Chief's accomplishments. And more importantly, from what I've heard, Chief DeFore had the respect of the officers who he led, which makes for a better and more effective police force. My point, however, is not to argue whether or not Chief DeFore deserved to be terminated, although he didn't. My point is that what has happened in 2 meetings in a row is quite simply wrong. Our fire chief and police chief were both fired. And if you ask me why, I still can't give you any concrete answers. As for Chief DeFore, not once was an executive session called so the entire commission could be made aware of what issues the mayor had with the police chief and the quote direction we were going. Simply saying I deal with this every day is not enough communication. Commissioner Middendorf and I both expressed concern that we knew nothing about why this motion was made. And the only response by the mayor was that a motion was on the floor and to be voted on. This is absolutely not how something like this should be done. We are a governing body who should be making informed decisions which are made for the betterment of Hiawatha. And when it comes to discussing personnel, the only legal way it should be discussed is during a commission meeting and executive session. This did not happen. There were no informed decisions. Instead, it was a vote made on personal opinions and not on facts. Termination of city employees is not a cavalier thing to be thrown out at the end of a meeting during each commissioner's time to speak. A process should be followed. The city administrator should be made aware of concerns about a city employee well before a meeting so he can address them immediately and appropriately. Next, the entire commission should be informed of any concerns in executive session. And if the commission deems it necessary or needed, the employee should have the opportunity to address those concerns to the entire commission, once again, in executive session. At least then a more informed decision can be made. This did not happen, and I'm still very upset about it. I take it seriously that this commission is here to do what is best for the city of Hiawatha. The only way I can do my part is if I am given all the information to study and research before major decisions are made. What has happened in the past 2 meetings should never happen again.
Is that it, Becky?
Yep.
Dave?
I'd like to comment on the actions taken in the meeting of 2 weeks ago regarding the termination of our police chief. I was dumbfounded and appalled at the way in which the police chief was terminated. It kind of reminded me of a lynching. There was no notice prior to the meeting that I was made aware of that there was a problem with the police chief and that the continuation of his employment was going to be determined in the meeting. But yet 3 of the governing body were ready and willing to terminate the chief with no discussion for their justification prior to the vote. I found a top tip for successful public service in the League of Municipalities booklet, Newly Elected Officials Guide to Governing, that says, quote, "Don't spring surprises on your fellow governing body members or your city staff, especially at formal meetings. If a matter is worth bringing up for discussion, it is worth being on the agenda. Surprises may get you some publicity at the embarrassment of others and tend to erode the team approach to governance," end quote. The action taken was certainly not a team approach when 2 of the governing body, as well as the city attorney and city administrator, were not made aware that a new direction was needed for the police department and the status of employment of the police chief was going to be brought up and voted on. An executive session should have at least been held so that all of the governing body could have been made aware of whatever concerns there were with the police chief, and that the city attorney and city administrator could provide input as to the ramifications if termination was going to be considered. A decision of this significance by the governing body deserves careful consideration and discussion and should have not been made in haste. We as the governing body have got to do better as a team going forward. Now I have some comments that I'd like to address to the city staff and city employees. You all are the lifeblood in keeping the city running. I highly value all of you and the contributions you make every day in keeping the city functioning and making Hiawatha a great place to live. Thank you for your service and dedication. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Brian's not on. Evans, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything this evening.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. No comments, we'll vote. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Oh, sorry. Denny, hang on. I want to grab you. I'm going to catch you. I want to catch you. Yeah, I just want to catch you before you leave. All right. Have a good night.
Well, then.
We have these the last time and I forgot to pull them.
All right.
It's that resolution we tabled again tonight, so
if you're fine with it, I'm gonna shred these. Because you and I both, we signed them.
Right, you shred them in.
Yeah, because, oops, it's the one that kept getting, errors getting tabled. So, yeah, oops.